Alrighty, y'all. We're gonna do a little experimenting. I have 4 coasters that I poured last night. Added some of our chunky silver glitter with our clear glue trick, so our glitter would stay evenly dispersed. Because I wanted it to look like galaxies with some planets in the background. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna do 2 using UV resin to create my swirls for my galaxy. And the other 2, I'm going to use 1v1 resin and mix up some mica powder with some abalone shell to give it that sparkle. And I'm also going to mix up some of this white glow-in-the-dark powder. And I have some extras if I want to use that. We're going to play it by ear and see what happens. I also have some interference powder that has a red undertone to it. So we're going to play around and see what we get. But first, I want to show you, I have my purple here, and I have my opalescent Let's Resin pre-colored UVs to, I'm gonna stand it in the box and let it get down to the bottom. But let's try, that's a regular purple, there's a light purple, there it is. A light purple. So I want to do my darker purple first and then use my light purple. And I'm not going to add any of this to it. I just want to try it straight from the bottle and see what we get. So first I want to go with the dark purple. And I just dropped my light, oh, there it is. It flew away, so I had to get that. But let's start with this dark purple first. And I just want to put some in the center. Okay. And I want to add a little of this light purple in there too. Alright, now to create the swirl, I'm going to use just a popsicle stick, and I'm going to go in and just swirl it around like so. Y'all, isn't that cool looking? Isn't that beautiful? And I want to swirl, I want to bring it out here, bring it up there. So, alright, let's turn on, go like that. Let's add a little more, turn that off. Let's add a little more darker purple. And I'm thinking I'm gonna add a little bit of clear to it. Let's add a little bit of clear. Ooh, look at that, y'all. Isn't that pretty? So let's stir that around too and incorporate. I really like that. What do you think? So let's pop this over there, turn it on 90. And once I get the design down like I want, then I can go back and fill my coaster completely with clear resin, maybe add a little bit of my marabou to give that sparkly background. But I really like how that turned out. And I think the other one, I want to use a different color. Should we use blue? What else do we have? Copper, wow, that's crazy. Gold. There's not much white. Let's try some blue. We'll try some blue. And I also want to mix some of this glow powder in with some regular resin and put that on top of this once it's had time to cure and sit for a little bit. I think that'll be cool. And what color? Oh, there there's less resin blue. So we'll use these two blues for that other coaster, and maybe a drop of our rainbow in with some clear. That would be pretty too. All right, gonna move this out of the way. That's cured. Good job. I'm gonna let it cool down because y'all remember what I told you. It's hot when you put that in there. So let's do, you can see this one. I'm gonna do blue on this one. Here's our pearlescent from Let's Resin and our regular blue, which has a shimmer from Teaksburg. So let's do, well, let me try this different. Let me put some clear down. Add a little bit of clear down. Add some blue. Yeah, look, isn't that beautiful? Ooh, look at that blue. And then we'll add a little of this lighter blue pearlescent. Wow. Let me, gosh. There we go. Different shade of blue. And I'm gonna drop a few drops of, I'm gonna get a new stick. All right, now we have our stick and we're just gonna start swirling. Y'all, isn't that gorgeous? Let's make a little baby one down here. Maybe we have a little, off in the distance, we have a smaller one. We want to make this our bigger one though. With a tail coming off. Ooh, that's pretty, y'all. Alright. Turn on. I'm liking that. That's pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this glow powder and I'm going to mix it with some clear UV resin and put a glob of it in the middle and add that extra color. I think that'll make it beautiful. And maybe add some of our abalone to give it that shimmer. Should I do the abalone or should I do... Let's do the interference with this, y'all. Why not? We're experimenting, right? So we'll try that. And I'm kind of thinking, you know, I don't know about doing the regular resin because you can get your pattern and lock it in and not have to worry about your mica powder migrating to the center of your coaster. Because if I did this with regular resin, I have to babysit that coaster for 1 to 2 hours to make sure that mica is not migrating in. So I think I'm just going to do all 4 of these with UV resin. Now, I'm just going to take this because I don't have any of my smaller cups. So it's not going to take a lot. And I'm going to, where did my white? There it is. Take my white and just put some in there, maybe a little more, and then just a tad of this. See that interference color? You see the red underneath? Look, I'm not putting, and you see how it is in there, right? I'm not putting a lot. It doesn't need a lot. Now, let's mix this up. I want to mix it up really well. I'm going to add some more UV resin to this. Okay. Now we need to mix all this together really well. And this would do better if I had my little cups, which I don't have at the moment. I've got to get some. All right, it's all mixed up. So I'm gonna take a little blob maybe a little more, and put here in the middle. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna swirl this over our blue. Y'all look, isn't that beautiful? I want more of that. I want to drag. And I'm just gonna dip this and drag it out. And run some along here to create that beautiful swirl. All right, I'm gonna move this away from my UV light, because remember I told you, if you have mixed up resin next to your UV, it's gonna harden everything you have in your cup. And you're gonna waste all that. So we're gonna let this cure. Get that. I know I saw a hair in there. Y'all see it? Aha, found it. Get it out of the way. So then when this is done, I go back in with clear, and if I want to add some more of this glow in the dark with this pigment in my resin, I can do that too. We'll just see. We'll play it by ear. I could pour a thin layer of resin over this, then add some more of my design colors. Y'all, I love how this is turning out. It's turned out better than I thought it would. All right. I think that's good enough. I'm gonna let that cool down. What do you think? Let's add some over here. You know what? Let's add some here on this. It's just black without a background. And let's just make a small. Maybe I need to add some more. Just leave it like that. What do you think? We've had a little clear to that. That's pretty, y'all. And then I'm going to leave it like that and cure it like so. These are really turning out pretty. And this is easy, super easy. I think I'm gonna leave this one, and I'll pour a little clear over this and let it sit for about 45 minutes to an hour till it gets thick, and then add some of this glow in the dark powder while the resin is thick, and I think I'll get better results that way. I mean, I like these results. They're pretty cool. And it also gives them that 3D effect. And then to make planets and stuff in here, take these little balls. I know you have these little jewel, these are like nail embellishments. You have little pearl balls, little metal balls. You could even put some rhinestones down in there for planets, stars, whatever you want to do to create your own. Oh, yo, I like that. I like that a lot. That's really pretty. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna pour resin over this. And I guess I'm gonna pour a thin layer of resin. Y'all, I'm on the fence. No, I think I'm gonna do some UV resin with a bright pink glow in the dark background, and maybe add some. I'm just gonna mix it in here. Okay, gonna add And let's do a little abalone shell this time. Let's get this all mixed up, and I'll have to add some more clear. I can already see it. Let's add some more clear. Isn't that pretty though? That's gonna make a great color. And I might put some of this over this purple. And I'm just scraping it all down. If I had my little 3-inch bathroom cups, this will be much easier. Alright, let's take a blob. Another blob. And I want to add some clear resin and marabou. Okay. And now I'm going to just like so. And I'm going to cure it right away. Move my leftover away. Oh y'all, I love how that looks. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous. This is crazy. Have you tried making galaxy coasters yourself? If so, how did you do yours? And what did you try? Last time I did them, I think I showed y'all I did them in layers. So one color, let that set up, poured more resin, did another color, so it was stacked in layers. I am loving that pink, y'all. That's gorgeous. And you can really just do some nebula pours. You don't have to swirl it. You can just put some streaks through space with different colors too. That's another option. And maybe we'll do that. We'll just do some streaks through a couple of these coasters. Maybe it's a shooting star. Whatever you want it to be in your world, as a famous artist used to say, there are no mistakes. There's happy little accidents. Leave a comment if you know who said that all the time. I used to love that show. Y'all look, isn't that gorgeous? Woohoo! And when we pour resin, clear resin over that, it's gonna really pop. I love it. All right, so let's add pink over this one. And I'm just gonna give it a little baby swirl. Maybe this pink is the inside color. I want some there. Maybe the pink is inside. I want that. There. A little bit left, and I think I'll just show you how to draw a little streak through. Maybe I'll use, wow, I thought I had my silicone. Oh, here it is. I'll use one of my silicone tools to do that little swirl there. But give us a thumbs up right now, y'all. Hurry. While this is setting up and curing, go give us a like. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because I have some really cool stuff coming this week. And you can also vote for our Friday live Friday with friends. What should we do this Friday? Should we talk about eco resin? Should we talk about, I have a project that I want to do using some crushed glass on a wave wood piece that I have that's already pre-cut. Should we go over more, where'd it go? Look at that, y'all. Isn't that beautiful? I love that like it is. Now, let's just go up here, and I'm going to use my silicone tool. Go up here. If you look on my channel and go to the post tab, I have a question there. You can vote in that poll and tell me, what do you want to see on Friday out of those choices? because I like giving you guys input, letting you have some input. Now, we're just gonna streak this through. Maybe it fades off. It's just a little tail that fades off. I'm gonna put some here. And really, I found it does much better with popsicle stick to put those swirls in. I'm just gonna add this little swirl. Like so. Now, I do want to add, I'm just gonna add a little, one little drop there. A swirl within a swirl. And there we go. And I'm going to stop at that. And then when I shut this off, I'm going to pour another layer of clear. And I may add some abalone shell or some of this red, or maybe I'll use a different interference color. Maybe I'll use a green interference. We'll try that. Let's try green interference when I pour the regular in. We're just playing around, y'all. This is how you discover new things. You just sit down and say, let me try this. I'm gonna try this green interference on my next layer on a couple of these and see what we get. And I'll mix it with some resin. And I have some yellow. I think I even have some green glow-in-the-dark powder that we can also try. I do. We have green glow-in-the-dark that I can try with this green interference. So that's what we'll do in the next clear layer. Oh, goodness, excuse me. So, there you have it, y'all. Step 1 to a galaxy. Which one is your favorite? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Leave me a comment, let me know, and we'll come back with that clear layer poured. I'm gonna add some little swirls with this, try it out, see if I like it. If not, no big deal, I can just pour over these. No big deal, no waste. But, y'all, step 1 of a new way to do some galaxies. Make sure you give us a thumbs up, and I'll be right back with that clear layer done, and you can tell me what you think. See you in a few. Hey y'all, we're back. And I brought you down closer because I really want you to see this. I used the little beads that I talked about from the nail kit. The little metal balls and the iridescent and the pearls. And I put them in as planets. Now I poured a thin layer of regular 1v1 resin to add the planets. And I also added some glow-in-the-dark in interference powder that I swirled over our UV design. And this is the thing using 1v1 resin, is you have to keep coming back and swirling this out because we know mica likes to migrate toward the middle. So this is what I'm dealing with now, is I'm having to come back and I set a timer and I swirl this glow in the dark and green. And remember I told y'all, don't use fire. So I just missed it to bubble sit. I really like how that has that glow around the outside. What do you think, guys? It's turning out good. I'm loving it, but let me know what you think. Y'all, this is a fun new way to make galaxy coasters, doing UV as a base for our design, our background design, and then coming back, adding our planets and our little, I don't know, what do you want to call that? A halo swirl? What would you call that? Leave me a comment and tell me, what do you call this little area here? That's like ghosting. I don't know. Leave me a comment and tell me what you would call that, because I am scientifically challenged. That's the best way to put it. I don't know all the proper names. I'm not Elon Musk when it comes to space. Now, I'm an OG Star Wars fan, but that doesn't help me in this instance. But anyway, guys, this is how we do a new method for galaxies. I think it's beautiful. I love how this turned out. I hope that you learned something from this. Leave me a comment. What is something you learned during this process that you didn't know or that you didn't think would be helpful? Anyway, y'all, these are done. Once this layer cures, the only thing left is to pour a clear layer on top, and that's it. They're done. In that clear layer, I am not adding my little rainbow sparkle. I want it to be clear. I don't want that sparkle to interfere with anything that's here. So we're just gonna add a clear coat and be done. But that's all for this one, y'all. Make sure you do all the YouTubey things. Give this a thumbs up if you haven't already. That allows beginners and other artists who might be struggling or looking for a new idea to find this video. But y'all know that's how we roll. We're here to help other people out best we can. So until next time, y'all, happy arting. Ta-ta for now.